I don't know who corporate is!
Wait, this wasn't your idea?
No one should be sending in movies.
Scriptwriter! Oh my god! This is bad.
The Christmas tree? What do you mean he worked for Disney? Mrs. Mavilda.
I better go now.
But it seems more like they're deciding whose organs they're gonna harvest in the night. Maybe he just robs banks.
Let's go gambling!
You understand these are orphans, right, lady? Communing with the elder gods. Bam! 20 to life behind bars. What kind of kids menu nonsense is this? Epic climax. Chainsaw massacre all these children in position of orphan abuser recently became vacant. 0 Hopewells out of 10. No! Who's doing this?
But we have so much to discuss. Mr. Reagan, I must say, I'm impressed with your work. Our tests don't normally go so well. It is refreshing to not have to lobotomize another applicant.
Sorry, did you say lobotomize?
But let's not focus on that. Let's get right into the heart of the matter. I am the ghost of Christmas.
The ghost of Christmas...
Just the ghost of Christmas.
What, not like ghost of Christmas past or present?
No, just of Christmas.
So what, have I lost the Christmas spirit? Now you're gonna torment me with visions of the future until I repent and experience the joy of the season again or something?
No, quite the opposite in fact.
What?
Quite simply put, you've been positive far too much this Christmas season. I mean, really, bro, 2 positive reviews in a row?
And that's a problem?
For my employers, yeah, they've seen your work and they agree with me that you have limitless potential. But recently, you've been squandering it.
And...
Which is why I'd like to offer you, my good sir, an opportunity to work with us. We just need a demonstration of your services.
Services? What do you mean?
What do you think I mean, my good sir? Upon this disc, you will find a film. You've proven yourself to be a decisive man, so I don't expect for you to have any trouble figuring out what to do. Just pick up the disc and I'll take it as a yes.
Alright, cut the G-Man bit and tell me what the heck is going on here. Who are you? Where am I? Who's sitting in that movie? Also, did you kill scriptwriter Reagan? What the heck was that about?
The scriptwriter is fine, man. We just needed to create a hook. The questions will get us nowhere. Time is short and I hate to terminate such a wonderful business relationship before it even began.
Fine, I'll review the stupid movie.
Wisely done, Mr. Reagan. I will look forward to working with you again soon.
Wait, what movie is it? You didn't tell me anything.
You'll find that out soon enough, bro. Now, get to work.
So, is he dead?
I don't know. But if he doesn't get up in 5 minutes, then we can go through his wallet.
Sweet! Dibs on the credit cards!
Rise and shine, Mr. Reagan. Rise and shine.
Rapsittie Street Kids Believe in Santa is a 2002 American animated musical Christmas special, written and directed by Colin Slater, produced and animated by his company, Wolf Tracer Studios. The special would air once and then never reappear again, not even on any home media or streaming service, only being rediscovered in 2015 by the founder of the Lost Media wiki, Diekite, who then uploaded it to the site Vimeo. The special's production has a long and complicated history that we'll be skimming through most of for the purpose of this video. Most of the information I'm using was taken from Wikipedia and from this Polygon article by this person whose name I'm not even going to try to pronounce. So if you want more info, check that out. Link is in the description. Colin Slater is the main architect behind this special, and he's a bit of an enigma in his own right. Despite claims that he produced over 2,000 hours of movie and TV, we may never know exactly how much he was involved in, as he sadly died from a stroke in 2019. Slater would found the company Wolf Tracer Studios, with the goal of putting, quote, the greatest art, the greatest musicians, and the greatest story ideas together into one place to create a story that everyone can enjoy. To achieve this dream, though, he needed animation, and he needed it fast and cheap. Fortunately for him, and not so fortunately for us, he found something. A piece of software known as 3D Choreographer, a program launched in 1994 as an animation tool for non-artists, which goes right alongside Passenger Jet for non-pilots as things that should not exist for clearly stated reasons. The program primarily used preset animations and was heavily reliant on its point-and-click features. Basically, it's the kind of thing you use to create a school project or an employee training video. Not an entire full-length animated special. That didn't matter to Slater, though, who took one look at how quick and easy the program was to use and presumably said this.
I smell profit.
The special would begin production when songwriter James DeLuca and an unnamed friend of his approached Wolf Tracer Studios with their idea for a Christmas special. DeLuca originally envisioned the special in a hand-drawn style reminiscent of Charlie Brown, but Slater was adamant on using 3D animation, claiming it was the only way to deliver the special on budget and in time for the 2002 holiday season. DeLuca would then unite with a friend named Chris Rose, and together they formed J. Rose Productions. According to his daughter, Rose trusted Wolf Tracer Studios and their animation team, so much so that he secured $500,000 for the production and never checked in on the animators once. His first time seeing the animation of the film he produced would be on the night it aired in December 2002. Slater would then put together a team of voice talent for the special, and through a series of successful charisma checks, would get a hold of some pretty big names, including Walter Emmanuel Jones, Mark Hamill, Jodie Benson, Paige O'Hara, Gray Delisle, Deborah Wilson, Nancy Cartwright, and Clint Howard. Yeah! The animators apparently had no idea how to use the 3D Choreographer program, being given little to no advice or guidance from Slater, who also didn't know how to use the program. The special was broadcast on the WB 100 Plus station group, who DeLuca convinced to let them air the special by saying, and this is a direct quote here, "Look at all these great Disney artists that are appearing on this. It can't suck!" Exclamation mark. I think that one speaks for itself. There's a lot of other really interesting stories from this special's production that I can't get into right now. Again, I would highly recommend you go and read the Polygon article. After the video, of course, I need the views. There's one last thing I want to share that I found in the article, though. Apparently, the week after Thanksgiving, Chris Rose hosted a family get-together, inviting them to his home to watch the special as it aired. In attendance was Rose's father, with whom he had a strained relationship. 15 minutes into the special, Rose fled to his bedroom in embarrassment, and just a little while later, watched his father's car leave the driveway and speed off into the night.
I'm so depressed I can't even blink.
The special was mocked viciously upon release, receiving harsh criticism for its visuals and storyline, and would be completely forgotten until its rediscovery on the internet years later, where it achieved its infamy. This special is universally hated, although its interesting story and just absurdity in general have gained it a bit of a cult following. And today, to prove my worth to whatever cosmic being I seem to have earned the ire of, we're gonna see if it really is as bad as they say. So, without further over-explaining, let's conclude this very special 3-part Christmas special by taking a look at Rapsittie Street Kids Believe in Santa. Roll film. The movie opens with some unfittingly dramatic music. That's a nice bird. Why does this music sound so dramatic? This misplaced epic choir music plays over some opening credits rendered in Comic Sans. You know you're in for a good time with anything when one of the first things you see is Comic Sans. Ignore the opening of this video, I did that because it's funny. We then cut to a title card, which reads more like a command than it does a title. Like I have to believe in Santa or be shot. Even after the title card, the opening just continues to drag itself out for as long as humanly possible, like a warning trying to get me to turn back. Anyway, the actual movie begins with, Oh no, what have I gotten myself into? So, right off the bat, the movie looks bad.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
I'm not gonna rag on it too much, considering how the animators were working with an underpowered and excessively bare-bones piece of software that they didn't even know how to use. Actually, you know what? Screw it. What in the sweet heavenly name of our good Lord and Savior Todd Howard am I looking at? Crispy Christ on a bike! Bowser's Dank Rave was more visually coherent. What am I even looking at? What's this? What's this? I'm feeling very scared. What's this? There's JPEGs in the air. What's this? I can't believe my eyes. I must be dreaming. Wake up. Oh Christ, get it away from me. This! utterly horrifying amalgamation of polygons and raw terror is Ricky, played by Walter Emmanuel Jones. Now, I know he looks like a racial caricature, but I'm pretty sure that's just the animation. It naturally looks like something foul and offensive. Feel free to get upset by it, though. I don't care enough to stop you. You think that's bad, though? Wait till I tell you about the rapping. Cause he does that!
All the toy stores are looking mighty packed. Electronic toys, video games, balls and bats. I've been a good boy through the year, you better know it. Get ready, Santa Claus, to start decking the halls with gifts. Though it's cold outside, it's warm in my soul. Gotta get a gift to give to beautiful Nicole.
Starting to think this may have been a bad idea. Lord, give me strength! So Ricky is just kind of wandering through the streets of whatever bombed-out post-nuclear hovel this special takes place in, whining about how he can't afford anything for Christmas, because he's poor. Hang on a second, is that Donald Trump on those coins?
Look at my African-American over here. Look at him. Are you the greatest? You know what I'm talking about? Okay.
I don't even know how to respond to this. Please insert a joke relevant to your own political alignment here. Ricky slowly shuffles back to what I presume to be his house, where we learn that he has a dead mom. I really shouldn't be surprised, honestly, and yet somehow I am. So Ricky's here to pick up this stuffed bear that he got from his mom before she kicked the poorly rendered bucket, and... Sorry, I just got something in my glasses here. Just give me a second. There we go. Okay, so anyway... What? I don't even, I have no idea what's happening here or why. I don't want to acknowledge the existence of this segment any more than I have to. Let's cut to Rapsittie Street Elementary. Striving for... They misspelled excellence. They misspelled excellence, and they put it on the sign for the elementary school. Public schools, am I right? So those consequences of my own actions are hitting pretty hard right now. Let's try and get on with the story. There is none. I am not joking. This is a movie about nothing. The first 20 minutes or so is just a random collection of scenes and bits with no narrative, structure, or conflict. Stuff just happens. I guess we at least get introduced to some more of the misshapen homunculi pretending to be characters. There's Blonde Bint and Not Blonde Bint, played by Paige O'Hara and Jodie Benson respectively. Generic Bully Kid, very unfittingly played by Nancy Cartwright.
Let's just see what Ricky Rhinemaster can do.
And this thing. Outside of that, there's really nothing happening. Ricky raps again, and every time he does, somewhere out there a budding songwriter jumps off a bridge. This thing flails around for a bit. This kid's hair clips into his own head, and then we cut from the poorly rendered inside to the poorly rendered outside. Oh my god. What's going on? I don't even know how to interpret this.
I'll watch you, Nicole.
That sounded so creepy! You know that scene in Doctor Who where we're seeing the Master's backstory, and it's revealed he was forced to stare into a gap in the fabric of reality at a young age, and that's what drove him insane? Watching this movie is comparable to that. Anyway, this freakish abomination against gods shows up and rambles for a bit, and after he moonwalks out of the movie... we can finally start to reassemble the mutilated corpse that is this movie's plot. Hang on though, first we need this thing to produce the most unsettling smile I've seen since the last video. That's fun. Turns out the closest thing this special has to a plot is a romance. Great. Ricky has a thing for Blonde Bint, apparently, otherwise known as Nicole, and he plans to give her his dead mom bear in an attempt to woo her. Look, I know I don't really get how relationships work, but is this really how you attract potential mates? Giving out relics of deceased parental figures? And here we see the young male homunculus attempting to secure a female. Here we see him practicing the traditional mating dance. See how he rocks back and forth in an almost hypnotic fashion. He has clearly spent much time preparing for this moment. It appears as though he spotted a potential mate. Notice how she shuffles into the scene, how she gazes directly above the young male. Notice her piercing yet vacant stare. The female clearly shows no interest. This does not deter the male, as he readies to present her with an offering. Let us see how it goes.
Have you lost your mind? Are you purposely trying to embarrass me?
Oh dear. A rejection as shocking as it was predictable. The female discards of the gift, limping away, while the male flees, his pride clearly wounded. Soon, he will purchase a fedora and a trench coat. He will spend the rest of his life harassing women on social media. This is nature. Please join us next week for another installment of poorly rendered planet. Now that the plot stuff is out of the way, let's get back to literally nothing happening. There's a scene of Nicole and not blonde Bint, otherwise known as Lene, just kind of talking. Meanwhile, at the last crack house on the left, the legal team has advised me to specify that I am not calling it a crack house because the special's only black characters live there. I am calling it a crack house because it looks like one. Sorry for interrupting, just wanted to clear that up. Okay, thanks, bye. Ricky is writing a letter to Santa Claus where he begins his incel arc by complaining about how Nicole rejected him. But because he's such a nice guy, he still wants presents delivered to her. How nice of him. Now can we please have something happen for the love of God? I'll accept anything at this point, even a musical number.
Look and you'll see the best kid in the world.
I take it back! I take it back! So after a completely necessary scene of Nicole telling Lene that there is no Santa Claus, there is no Tooth Fairy, and there is no Queen of England, we cut to what could be vaguely described as a song, in the same way a pipe bomb can be vaguely described as a Yule log. This is one of the worst things just in general. Paige O'Hara is a good singer, and bless her heart, she's trying. But you would have to be imbued with the powers of God himself to save this number. It's just so repetitive and obnoxious. The lyrics are nonsense. The music itself sounds like the death rattle of a jingle bell, mixed with the tormented screams of a Christmas caroler. The visuals speak for themselves, of course. I think you'd get less horrific visions from drinking expired cough syrup and downing it with eggnog. And it goes on for a solid 4 minutes. 4 minutes of this freakish wench alligator death spiraling around a Windows Vista desktop background. I was gonna try and sell this to the CIA as a new form of enhanced interrogation, but I figured they would say that's too inhumane even for Gitmo. No, don't tell me we're gonna sing! No! No, please! Ah! No!
I can be. 'Cause on Christmas Eve, at me.
Jesus Christ,
Tell
stop.
me what else.
Why is it still not over? I like how after the song, the camera zooms so far back that the house starts to leave the frame. I don't think I've ever seen an animation error that egregious. Surprisingly enough, there's a lot of errors in this. I haven't mentioned most of these, partly out of misplaced pity for the animators, and partly because if I did, we'd be here all day. You could make a fun drinking game out of it, but I'm pretty sure you'd be dead by the 10-minute mark. Meanwhile, at the Bass Pro Shop pyramid, stuff is happening. What that stuff is, I don't know, but it sure is happening. I think this is a subplot about Lene starting to question her belief in Santa. I say I think because I'm pretty sure you have to have a plot to begin with in order to have a subplot, but this movie defies both expectations and logic. I forgot to mention this earlier because I didn't care, but Ricky accidentally dropped his letter to Santa in Nicole's front yard. She finds it and realizes how important that dead mom bear was to him, and this, almost halfway into the special, is where we begin the actual story. I am not joking. Back at Ricky's house, he's seeking advice from his grandmother, who says,
You just got to for it.
okay, well, I think I've seen about enough of this. Goodbye, everyone. Yes, what you just heard was real. She actually sounds like this.
See,
Now, most people on the internet attribute this to a corrupted audio file, but I did some digging and turns out this is intentional.
Christmas.
According to Deborah Wilson, the voice of the grandmother, she was asked by the production team to voice her like this. This was done on purpose. This is Rapsittie Street Kids as it was intended to be presented.
The only reason God doesn't erase you from the face of the earth is because you amuse him somehow.
Let's just get back to the plot. The quicker this ends, the better for all of us. So the two annoying Bints and, I don't know what this one's called, Pedro, that'll work, are searching through this dumpster for Ricky's dead mom bear. Also, the gang of generic bullies with unfitting voices show up. I think this is where they stopped actually trying to write dialogue and just started pulling words and phrases out of a hat. Just listen to this.
Let me guess. You were thrown out of the mall, so you're shopping at the dumpster.
Huh? I like how they briefly attempt to become a human centipede before leaving. Really ties the whole scene together, you know? My brain cells are committing suicide one by one. I can feel it! The second an actual plot starts to develop, it immediately just stops. There's a totally pointless scene where the three of them crawl around a basement for no reason. It looks almost like some kind of 90s point-and-click game if it was made by Satan. So, most 90s point-and-click games, I guess. Then they end up in a junkyard and there's some utterly horrific-looking dog things that chase them around for a bit. This shot happens, and then they find the dead mom bear. I guess that was the epic climax? Can I go home now? Wait, no, Pedro needs to Heil the Fuhrer first. Can't forget that.
I am Adolf Hitler, command of the Third Reich. Little known fact, also 2 points in my...
So Nicole returns the bear, and then there's an incredibly awkward pause for no apparent reason.
But doesn't it mean a lot to you?
Yes. And so does friendship.
You don't want to be like this. This is disgusting. This is awful in every way. If I could kill it, I would. But I legally can't. But I've considered it.
Now that the only thing resembling an actual story is over, we must be close to the end, right? What do you mean there's another 10 minutes? So we're back to just utterly insipid, mundane nonsense. The animation errors are starting to get even more blatant and shameful. This lady's feet are missing, and this lady doesn't seem to have a lower body. Meanwhile, this guy's legs clip through his shirt and his eyelids seem to be on the inside of his skull. God, at least it can't get any worse.
Daddy, will you try and help me understand?
I have only myself to blame for this, really. At least this song is short. Although, then you remember it's the voice of the Little Mermaid singing it, and you feel the sudden urge to find out what battery acid tastes like. Hey, you want to see another incredibly awkward pause?
It's Christmas!
And Mark Hamill shows up.
Oh, our princess has my good looks and your spending habits.
Outside of that, he really doesn't do anything. Glad we could get him in the movie. Okay, so is there anything else I need to talk about here? Ricky gets whatever thing he wanted for Christmas. Nicole repents for not having faith in Santa. Lene's subplot fizzles out. Grandma babbles incoherently one more time.
Christmas!
The stuffed corpse of Santa Claus flies over, and the movie ends as abruptly as humanly possible. This is a cult indoctrination video.
Shut that door.
Great ending. Well, they learned how to shade in stuff. Still horrifically disturbing to look at. I don't even know how to respond to that. Holy crap. Well, that's the film, folks, and I think it really speaks for itself. I mean, what do you want me to say here? Rapsittie Street Kids is bad. It is quite possibly one of the worst things I've ever seen. I thought the Titanic movies were bad. I thought Elf Bowling was bad. I thought Food Fight was bad. And I was right, those are all bad. But this is somehow even worse! A Snow White Christmas was at least a little charming. The Christmas tree was awful, but at least it was funny. There's nothing redeeming or even just excusable here. I can't even say the voice cast was any good, because honestly, they weren't. Like, yeah, all these big names are on here, and yeah, they say their lines well, but like, I expect them to do their jobs well. It doesn't make the stuff they're saying sound any better, and it certainly doesn't fix any of the other things that it does wrong. And there is a lot that it does wrong. The dialogue makes no sense, the storyline has nothing to do with Christmas. Heck, the storyline doesn't even exist for at least half the special. The soundtrack is awful, the visuals are awful, the characters are awful, the comedy is awful. Everything about this special is awful. Being forced to sit through this utter abomination is the closest thing that we as a species will ever get to staring into the abyss and having it stare back. I have to imagine that this is what the crew in Event Horizon saw when they went through that portal to hell. If not, it must have been very similar. It's not even ironically enjoyable like the Christmas tree, it's just so mind-numbingly boring and hard to follow. That's really all there is to say here. I guess the story behind the special is pretty interesting, but not enough to save it from a final rating of -10 Pedros out of 10. And may God have mercy on its soul. And that concludes this trilogy of very special Christmas specials. This sure was interesting. Are we all done here?
Yeah, I think so. We're all done.
Really? No packages or anything? No one's gonna walk through the door and say they have another movie? Nothing like that?
Nope.
Okay, thank God.
Wait a minute, you never opened your present.
Present?
Oh yeah, we tried to give it to you, but then you started screaming up the ceiling and then you passed out.
We were gonna go for your wallet.
Here, open it.
I swear to God, if this is another movie, I'm just gonna... Oh. Thank you. This is very thoughtful. It means a lot. Hey guys, it's me, scriptwriter Reagan. Get out of here, don't ruin the moment. Oh, okay then.
What do you think? Excellent. Shall we prepare for phase 2? Right away, sir.